Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to start some experimenting a little bit on some solutions for the Mustang paint. Back to Ball Nation Adventures. Primarily the driver's side front fender is one of the main things I want to address, but depending on how it goes, I might employ these techniques in other spots on the car. As I've said before, this fender and the front bumper were replaced, and the hood is damaged on the corner, and I've got another hood in the garage for it. I just haven't replaced it yet. But the car took a hit right in here from a signpost a couple of years back. We got a new fender from the junkyard and a hood and a bumper cover, and replaced the stuff myself. And so the top of the fender was all surface rusted. You can see the reds are obviously different. This is just red plasti dip, and it's starting. I didn't do the greatest job on it. It's got texture in it, but it turned it red, and the main purpose was to protect the top of the fender. I sanded it down, got rid of the surface rust, and put the plastic dip on it to keep it from rusting anymore. And I believe it has done that, but it's looking pretty bad. And so today I'm gonna grab the old fender from the backyard and bring it up, and then I'm gonna do some experimenting with it. I have picked up some primer, and I have picked up Krylon Gloss Cherry Red and clear coat. My plan is I'm going to mask off the fender, and I'm going to sand a section, sand it down, get rid of the flaking clear coat. But then I'm going to primer and paint and clear coat, and I'm going to compare the color to this factory color and just see how close of a match it is, because obviously the cap is supposed to give you an indication of what the color might be, but it's obviously not going to be exactly that color, but it looks to be pretty close to this color. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. And then on the other side of the masking, I'm just going to sand it down lightly to get rid of the flaking clear coat, and then I'm just going to re-clear it. And the idea there is to see if I can just put some new clear over the color that is already here in the spots where the paint hasn't burnt through yet, to see if that will kind of restore the existing paint job. This is not the factory paint job. Before we bought it, the guy that sold it to us had ran it through Mako and just had a Mako paint job squirted on it. I believe the Mako type. It may not have been Mako, but it had been resprayed, and I know that for a fact because on the back bumper there's runs down low. Anyway, so yeah, so that's my plan for today. We are getting ready to get going on this experiment, the science experiment that we're doing today. I've got the fender in here, and we've got her masked up, and I've got the sides labeled on what I'm doing so I don't forget, because I'm going to go through and I'm going to sand both spots. That says clear coat. We're going to go through and we're going to sand both spots at the same time first, and then we're going to start painting. I've got a handle that I'm going to try out to see if it makes the rattle can, see how it works on the rattle can, see if it makes it a little more even, a little easier to do. To start with, I mean, I'm just using woodworking tools, honestly. I know it's a it's a mess. It's not the right tool for the job, but you use what you've got. And so I'm going to use that to start with, and then I've got alcohol and towels that I'll wipe everything down before I start laying any paint down. So, and I'm doing it in the garage. Temperature is 97 to 100 degrees out here today, so it's really hot. We're going to be doing this in the garage just to make it a little easier, so we're not standing in the hot sun, and to help manage the temperature of the surface a little bit. So got a little more aggressive on this side than I expected to, so I have broken through to the primer in spots, but that's okay. I'm still gonna just clear coat it. The paint side, I've got that down. I've got the scratches and whatnot down. I'm getting ready to, we're gonna wipe it down, and not sure here if they used a blue primer. Is there such a thing as blue primer? So here's our paint side, and I'm not sure if there's blue primer, but that's blue. It's not gray. But you kind of see this spot, there was some chunks. I'll wipe this down again, but there was some chunks taken out of the paint here, And so I sanded that down. You can see the layers. So the blue primer or whatever, and then I assume that's the original factory color there. And this is just the clear coat side. You can see I burnt through some of the raw paint down to the primer. It's just curiosity more than anything. The main section, the back section of the fender here, is really the primary thing that section that I'm curious about. Alright, this is coat 3 of primer going on. I've done 2 with the handle. I'm going to do this one by hand and just compare. Okay, I'll let that dry, and I think I like the handle a little bit better, just for comfort wise. Feels more natural as you're spraying with a gun instead of spraying like this. But as far as coverage goes and pattern, I didn't notice much difference. So I think I'm going to stick with the handle, at least for now, unless I start noticing a big difference. But the handle is just a more ergonomical grip, and I don't know, seems to work. I like it. There is a little bit of texture right in here that I'm going to see if I can hit with this fine-ish sanding block, and I'll put another coat of primer on it if I need to, if I screw it up, which I probably will. But see if I can sand out some of that texture. Alright, I'm going to hit it one more time with the primer before I start laying color down. I think that texture I'm seeing is the outline of the burnt clear coat. Just did a little test shot there, and boy, it comes out really red. Pretty sure it's not gonna match this paint whatsoever, but it's all right. That's what we're here to figure out. So, all right, first coat of red going on. Okay. First coat of red on. It looks all right. Definitely orange peel in there, but whatever. So 3 coats are on and drying. So here's what we're looking at. Plenty of orange peel I've got to try and deal with. Like I said earlier though, I'm not trying for a professional result here. This is just an experiment, but you can really see the orange peel in it. It's not bad though. I mean, coverage is good. Really no runs. I got a little spot right there that I'm not sure if it's a run or what it is, and I got a little dealy bopper right there. I don't know what caused that either, but I've got an assortment of sandpaper that I'm gonna use. There's the reason this thing's not on the car. That's it right there. It was curled completely under. Child abuse. I'm gonna let this finish drying, and then we'll come out. Probably be later on this evening. Give it plenty of time to kind of dry and set up and not be tacky like me. And then we'll come out, we'll start hitting it with some sandpaper, see if we can knock down some of that orange peel a little bit before we put on the clear coat. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up. We're on the beach this morning for worship, and it is really calm, really nice this morning. Some clouds on the horizon over there that might obscure the sun itself, but the ocean is calm, waves are small. It's amazing. We are back in the garage on Sunday after a beautiful morning on the beach for worship, and I'll show you around what I've got done here. So this is the red, and I have off camera, I've sanded a little bit to try and smooth it out, get rid of some of the texture. Did 600, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 grit. Got a little bit more to do. I've got some streaks in there, and then I'm gonna hit it with the clear. Hopefully it looks decent. It definitely doesn't match the factory paint. I think I said that yesterday, but it's all right. It might still work out as a viable option for dealing with the paint problem. I just might end up painting the car myself using this method. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to hit one more little round of 3,000 grit on this thing, dry that off, clean it off, hit it with some alcohol, and do the same with the clear coat test spot, and then we'll hit both sections with some clear coat and see what we end up with. No, this is not the professional way to do it. I get that. I'm not a professional. Not looking for professional grade results. Said that on many different projects that you guys have watched me do. I'm trying to do long, straight strokes so I don't get swirls. That's the main thing that I'm doing here. Okay. I think we're going to go with that. because this is just a test. So we'll see what it looks like here. So now I'm going to get some alcohol. Okay. I'm going to start with just the clear coat side over here. Well, that's not looking good. That's not looking good at all. I wonder if I crinkling up like crazy over here. Well, there's definitely an issue going on here with the painted side. I don't know if you can see it from there. I'll bring you in closer here and show you here in a minute. But it's all crinkled up over here on the paint. On the clear coat side here, I'm going to go ahead and put another application on. I do have some runs. You know, again, it's a test, so I probably won't do anything with them. I'm going to go ahead and finish my 3 coats on this test panel here. I'm not sure that it's the humidity, heat and humidity though, because the crinkle effect isn't happening over here. It's definitely got orange peel over here, but it's not got the crinkle effect that this is having. Here, let me bring you in and show you. So here's what's happening to the paint after that 1 coat of clear coat. And it did it over just about the entire. There's a couple little spots here and there that it didn't do it, but I don't know. Can't be the alcohol, because I did alcohol on both sides. And this side's, you know, other than pretty healthy orange peel, it's not crinkling up like this side did. Huh. I don't know what's going on, so we'll figure it out. And I'm gonna let this this paint side dry completely and then sand it down and start over. This is an experiment. All right, I'm back out here. It has been a few hours since I laid that first coat of clear on this painted section. I did try and do some sanding on it earlier, but it still hadn't fully cured in spots. We went off. We had a pool party to go to today after church, so we're home from that. Anyway, I'm gonna keep sanding on this and we'll see where we end up. We are into this a little bit. deeper. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. Before we go, I'm going to show you where I'm at with this thing, and I'm going to show you how the clear coat, just the clear coat, turned out, because it turned out okay. I mean, it's okay. I haven't done anything to it other than spray it. Let's take a look, shall we? There is where I'm at with the painted side. I've answered the question. I've definitely solved the mystery. That paint does not match up in any way, shape, or form to the laser red, the factory color. So mystery solved there. But I'm going to continue on because, by golly, I want to see if I can paint a section of this fender and get it to look halfway decent. And if I can, I'll consider it as a viable option to address that, especially the plastic dipped fender. Alright, so here is just the clear coat section that I painted. Obviously I burnt through in areas, and I've got orange peel. Like I said, I haven't sanded on this or anything. The only thing I've done is collapse my work surface onto the floor, and which allowed the fender to fall painted side down, and gave me a scratch. A couple of scratches, whatever. That didn't turn out terrible. I mean, it's not a viable option to address that, because I would have to sand this. I'd have to sand this stuff more to get it to blend, and sanding this is so thin it would do this. It would burn through, and at that point there's no point in continuing to do this, because I would have to repaint. I would have to do that. So this was just for curiosity's sake. And yeah, I mean, if you could somehow get all the burnt clear coat off without burning through the paint, you know, with sanding, I mean, yeah, theoretically, a guy could just shoot clear over this paint and bring it back. But there's no real way that I'm aware of to get rid of the sunburn paint, sunburn clear coat flakes off without burning through this thin layer of paint here. Maybe if this layer of paint was 4 or 5 coats, or at least 3 coats of paint, a guy might have more luck doing that. But this is just I believe 1 layer of paint over a layer of blue primer with a layer of clear coat. So we're back to this, and so we're going to keep on working on this. So that'll be on next week's episode. I'm still at a complete loss as to why it wrinkled, but here we are. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.